Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of Career Conversation with Oyin. I am so excited that I'm finally doing this. I have butterflies in my belly. This is a self-help and career development podcast that inspires us to fearlessly pursue our dreams and have successful careers. Each episode will feature me having authentic conversation with established career professionals. They will share their journey, experience, and practical tips with the purpose of impacting and equipping us to improve our personal and professional lives. Joining me today is Dr. Kevwe Pela, a PhD holder, young professional, and economist at the World Bank. I met Kevwe 13 years ago at the University of Lagos, Nigeria, where we both earned our bachelor's degree. Kevwe is going to be sharing with us a career journey and the story behind how she was able to get a seat inside one of the most prestigious organizations in the world. Thank you so much, Kevwe, for coming on board.
Thank you, Oyin, for having me. It's my pleasure to share my experience with everyone.
Okay, now let's get into your career. Can you tell us about your career journey?
I have spent the last 6 years developing myself as someone who would like to contribute to the growth of developing countries and stir up policy discussions on how to eradicate poverty. I completed my PhD in development policy from the University of Manchester in 2018. And while doing my PhD, I took up different internship and volunteer positions, one of which was my work with Universal Learning Solutions, an NGO that partnered with Nigerian State Universal Basic Education Board to improve the reading and writing skills of children. During my time with them, I helped to manage the literacy project for Ekiti State, Delta State, Kogi State, and Oyo State. I had the opportunity to visit these different states and relate what I'd learned in school or what I'd learned as a development student to real life situations. It was at this point I realized that there was a need to that there was indeed a skill gap amongst children in Nigeria, and that while they were going to school and they had access to reading materials, these children were not learning. So myself, in partnership with the State Universal Basic Education Board through Universal Learning Solutions, we introduced the Jolly Phonics framework to improve the reading and writing skills of children, and also did an impact evaluation to test if this framework had a positive impact on children's reading and writing skills. After my time with Universal Learning Solutions and after graduating with my PhD, I joined the World Bank in 2018.
Impressive profile. Okay, so I'm interested in the World Bank journey. So can you tell us how did that started? Was it all planned or the opportunity came along?
It was definitely not planned. I knew I had an interest in development issues, but at that point in my life, the World Bank was only a dream that I never imagined will soon become my reality. I saw an advert online. The World Bank had launched 2 recruitment drive for that year, the African Fellowship Program and the Young Professionals Program. I looked at the criteria and I ticked both the boxes for both criteria. So I thought, why not apply?
Nice. Okay, so you applied for both career opportunities. You got the both?
No, so I can remember because the Young Professionals Program recruitment started before the African Fellowship Program. So I passed the different stages for the Young Professionals Program, that is the YP, But when they invited me to Paris for an interview, when I was at the interview stage, but I didn't pass, and so I didn't get shortlisted at that stage. I had failed,
Ouch.
So yes.
It's life.
But exactly. So I also concurrently applied for the African Fellowship Program. And at that point, when I got the email that I failed, I thought I wasn't going to get chosen for the African Fellowship Program. But luckily, I got chosen. So it was good for me.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you got the African Fellow at that time, but you didn't get the young professional at that time. Okay, so it means that you started working with the bank as a young African Fellow, not young professional, African Fellow.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So at what point did you make the switch?
Yeah, so the African Fellowship Program is a 6 months temporary consulting role at the World Bank. So it was, obviously I wanted something more stable, you know, and I can remember it was a very tough decision for me, you know, when I got this fellowship, because I was offered, I was told I could work remotely from the UK rather than coming to the US, you know, so it was really tough. And I can also remember that at that point when I was in the UK, I had already applied for a resident permit for 1 year, a post-study leave, that's what they call it in the UK. I had that. You know, I also was working with an NGO, you know, and then I had friends. And so after the what I had planned in my mind was, after this post-study visa, I would apply for a talent skill visa, which will give me another 5 years. Then I can apply for my residence permit. You know, so I already had a plan in mind. So when I got this African Fellowship offer, and then they offered me that I could work remotely, it was a good opportunity, because I would make money. I would be working remotely and also working with the NGO, working with some other organizations. So that meant more money for me, you know. But when I thought about it, that, you know, it's better for me to, I didn't want to think of my short-term gain that was making more money. Rather, I was thinking of my long-term gains, of the network I would build if I travel to US and work in the headquarters of the World Bank. So I thought I should actually move to US, even though there was no guarantee of any full-time position. You know, it meant no health insurance, less money for me, and no guarantees. Well, I thought if I saw myself there in the future, I need to move there, network, and see how to get myself permanent there.
Wow. So even though it looked very bleak, you saw an opportunity.
Yes, I did.
Now, instead of me to, yes, stay back in the UK with all these guarantees and what is real, what we like to call the bed I have in my hand, but you saw a bleak that this dream could actually be true. It could come true. Let me just pursue it. So you took that, what I was saying, you took that gamble to follow that dream. And then you went to the US and left all the guaranteed, or what seems guaranteed and what seems real, in the UK. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. So you moved to the US as an African fellow, which was a temporary position. So how did you now I know that, you know, you are a young professional. So how did all that change come about?
Yeah, so while I was as a young professional, I decided to apply for the YP again, you know, even though I didn't have so much faith, considering I had failed the previous year. But I decided to apply for the YP again. And so when I got the YP, I made that switch.
Okay. So can you tell us what was the process of the young professional? Because I heard that it's very tough.
Yeah, so the Young Professionals Program is the recruitment can last for up to 1 year. You know, it first starts with writing a CV and sending in your statement of interest. That's your essay, where you write about your contribution to the World Bank, you know, based on your field of expertise. So that was the first stage I did, and we're like more than 7,000 that applied at the first stage. Then we got shortlisted to about 2,000. So at that stage, they require you to send in your recommendation letters. So I got my recommendation from my academic supervisor, the organization I was working with, and the clients in Nigeria I was working with. You know, and then from that's more of, they call that stage the technical review process, where they review your dossier as well as your recommendation letter. The third stage is where they invite you for an interview, a panel interview, and a group work. So at that stage, they shortlisted us to about I think 250. So we're 250 that got invited at that stage. Then after that stage, we're 97 that passed.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you came from 7,000 all the way to 97 professionals all over the world, I believe.
Yes, I mean, at that point, when you're having the teamwork, you know, everybody you're speaking with, they are highly skilled. Graduates from Harvard with PhDs, graduates from Oxford, Cambridge with PhDs, you know, so everybody has an opportunity. Everybody has an advantage, you know. So at that point, you have to show your strength. You know, you have to show why you're better than the other person. But in a way, they were not looking for you you were not competing with the other person. Rather, they wanted you to show your strength and what you can contribute to the organization. So that teamwork was very tough. The final interview stage was really tough because, again, you have to face 3 to 4 panelists, experts in their own field, and they would question you on different angles. So they were trying to measure the depth and breadth of your knowledge, basically. So after they shortlisted us to 97, they circulated our dossier across different units. Hopefully the plan was, or the plan was for them to, or different unit heads to pick people that felt could contribute to their units.
Okay, so it means that even when you enter the pool of, let me call it the pool of the selected 97, the selected ones, the chosen ones, the 97 chosen ones, there's still another stage, which is to now share your dossier around to say, now these guys are the stars of the world. Now pick. There's still another chance. Somebody still needs to want you on their team.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you get a match immediately, or did it take you time, or how did you come out? Do you come about getting, the job that you have now, the final stage? How did it happen for you?
Yeah, I can remember the 7th of February was when I got the email that I have passed the interview, and now they'll be circulating my CV and essay and my profiles within the bank to identify a match, and I know that, I can also remember that first week of March, they sent out the first list of people that were matched, but I was not included,
Wow.
In April, I was still waiting because this is more of an ongoing process till they find you a match. I was not included. In May, again, I was not included. And by June is where the World Bank started recruitment for the next year again. They had already advertised, we've identified 55 young professionals who will be working with us in September. And they had opened up the recruitment phase again. And then I was not included. So I was beginning to lose hope. At that point, I thought to myself, what was I expecting? I started thinking back on what people had told me in the past when I started my PhD, when they had told me that it's not possible to get a job with the World Bank, that what do people wait, what was I doing, for my PhD, that the best I can be is the lecturer. I got scared. I started letting what other people had projected upon my life, what other people's perception about my life was to define me. I started believing in their truth, that it was impossible for me to get full position in the World Bank, and that, so I just felt, I almost gave up, basically.
Wow. Anybody will give up because, lists keep coming out. Your name wasn't on it. So, so when did you make up your mind to say, I'm going to give this my all, and you were going to push till something happened?
Yeah, so I made up my mind when I thought to myself, what do I stand to lose? I was already here. I was already at the World Bank. I had access to all the email address of everybody I wanted to meet or network with. So I decided that, what, let me reach out to these people. Let me tell them my story. Let me tell them my profile. Let me tell them that I can contribute to their units, and then that's what I did. I literally sent an email to the directors, the senior directors, the managers of the units I was interested in, copying my, attaching my CV, and giving them a short profile of myself on how I could contribute to their unit.
Wow. So I would like I like to dig into your mind a bit. Thinking back, do you truly believe the actions you were taking? What you just mentioned, seeking out people for help, trying to network internally, and what I would call campaigning for your dreams, just to make sure that, you get your name on that list. Do you truly believe that those actions were going to lead somewhere? Thinking back.
I can remember I had given up, So, because I remember that after sending all the CV, after sending my CV to the different practice managers, I had an interview with them, most of them, and they said, "Oh, you're a very good talent. That for you to make it to the stage, we know, you're very good. However, we've already picked somebody, and we don't have a budget to create a position for an extra person, So at that stage, it went beyond convincing people to pick me. It was more of, you need to create a budget for me, So it was very difficult because most units already had a particular amount, And for you telling them to create another budget, they're wondering, why are you special? Like, what do you want to contribute that other Harvard graduates that they picked, or Cambridge graduates they picked, cannot contribute, So it was difficult at that stage, but I just kept on pushing, And it was at the final stage, at the last, when I'd given up hope, I can remember in June, I had a meeting with a lady, in fact, I thought she was going to pick me. We had spoken to our team in Iraq, I'd spoken to our team in Abu Dhabi. So I was already convinced. It was a very good interview process, a good discussion. But after a week, she had told me, unfortunately, she was unable to convince her senior directors to create an additional budget and pick me. So I'd given up. But I can also remember that there was this practice manager I'd been trying to meet since April, to have a discussion with him. But because the bank, everybody's literally very busy. So he did not have the time, So I decided to go to his assistant to book a meeting for me. So because the assistant literally has his calendar and she knows when he's busy and when he's not busy. So she literally just set up a time for me. And it was a Friday. So I went to meet him. I'd already given up hope. I thought he was not going to pick me because the other lady who they were in the same unit had already told me she couldn't convince her senior director to create a budget, an additional budget for me. So I just went there, with a free mind. And within 1 hour or less than 30 minutes of our conversation, he literally told me, you know what, I can pick you. I just need to check my budget.
Wow.
And within 1 week, he called my PhD supervisor to know much about me. He told me to have meeting or have a test with another of his colleagues. He did his own research about me. And within 1 week, I got an email from HR saying I've been matched.
Wow. Very impressive story. I mean, this story is phenomenal. Moving on, I like to know, do you honestly think that, the temporary role that you took at the World Bank, do you think that opportunity gave you an edge to secure the permanent role that you now have?
Yes, the opportunity opened me up to different people, what the bank does, different network of even people that I didn't know. I was able to reach out to them. I was able to ask questions, and I was able to develop myself better preparing me for the role. So making the decision of leaving the UK for the US, even though that meant no health insurance, in temporary position, and less money, was a good decision for me.
Nice. So right now we can literally say that you are living your dreams. Come on. you are now, working at the World Bank. What sort of feeling comes with that?
Quite frankly, I'm happy about it. I feel some form of career fulfillment, but the dream will not be complete as long as there are still about 3 billion people living in poverty across the world.
Wow. That's still true. So you still have a lot of work to do.
Exactly.
Okay, so along the line, I know that nobody is an island. So I want to know, what sort of support do you have that you think contributed to your success story?
Yeah, I got support from friends, from families, from our academic tutor, and even from strangers, because I can remember that before I even got the first temporary and consultative position, I reached out to strangers through LinkedIn, people that already had the job. I reached out to them for advice, some even offered to review my CV for me to make it more competitive, which I leveraged on their strength and their experience before I applied. And I got chosen. The same thing with the YP. The managers I reached out to were perfect strangers, but in all the meetings, even though they didn't pick me, they gave me good advice. They gave me good advice. They created an opportunity for me to build my confidence. So I feel like I got support from everybody, friends and strangers.
Nice. And nice. So this is another reminder to tell us that we should continue to reach out to people. When you need help, seek and reach out. You never know what's at the other side. Thank you for sharing that with us. So I would like you to summarize now the practical actions that you took that put your name on that list. Because right now you have the title of the young professional. So you are part of that chosen, now the special chosen one. So what practical actions and tips did you take? Can you summarize that for us, please?
The practical actions I took started way before I joined the World Bank. As a little girl, I had a passion for development issues, and little me could not understand what that meant at that point. I studied hard and earned myself a doctorate degree. I took up both paid and unpaid positions, which provided me with the relevant skills and made me more competitive on a global scale. I met new people and networked while at the different stages of my life. I also prayed to God. All these individual actions led me to the World Bank.
Thank you so much, Kevwe. I know that a lot of people has reached out to me when they saw that you were coming on the show. So, is it possible that you can share the link, or you can share the list out to we can also get this online notification when World Bank or any of these development organization have opportunities, so that people can also be able to leverage and take career opportunities where possible.
Yes, we do have a career link, which I can share with you after this discussion.
Thank you so much, Kevwe, for having this conversation. Impressive, I have to say. I am personally inspired. So now I'm going to put you on our hotspot. I have 4 fast questions for you. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Do you believe in luck?
Yes, I believe in luck, but I also believe in hard work.
What's your favorite quote?
If an opportunity doesn't come knocking, create one.
What's the title of the last book you read?
Who moved my cheese?
If you were not an economist, what will you be?
A social entrepreneur.
Lovely. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you so much for sticking till the end. I appreciate the time you have decided to spend with me. Kindly share this podcast with your friends, and if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please take a minute to drop a review. I would personally love to hear from you. Feel free to send me an email or DM with your comments, suggestions, and feedback. Till next time, never stop believing and pursuing your dreams. You will realize it takes you to take a bet on you.